Hey Jews, thought I'd do a little quick video with some excellent starting books, required reading for every Jew waking up right now in our year 5784, which is end times. I know that because I'm learning Torah. Okay, so if you're waking up now, you're trying to figure out what is anti-Semitism, what's going on in the world. Are the Jews even safe in the world? What happened to Israel? What happened to the IDF? Like, what's going on, okay? So there's a lot of background information you have to know to be able to understand our present situation. And actually all of our history as Jews, which is kind of weird, right? I mean, why? We're a small nation. For the most part, you would think we don't really bother anyone. Why does everyone hate us? So let's just go through a little bit of background, and then I'm going to show you all the books that I think everybody needs to start in order to have some sort of idea of our reality and what it means to be a Jew. What does it mean to be a Jew? Okay, so there was Adam and Eve. Believe it or not, this story is true, okay? Whatever's written in the Torah is the objective truth. There is an objective truth. Well, that doesn't look like objective. Objective truth, okay? I know everyone, it's very popular in this year, 2024, to say that everyone has their own truth, and whatever. That doesn't make sense. And I'm really not interested in being like, oh, politically correct, and everyone can feel whatever gender they feel like they are, and nothing means anything, and everyone, no, there is an objective truth. It's written in the Torah, and if you're able to start learning and tuning your brain into the Torah, you will see reality more clearly because it's an objective reality. It's 5-dimensional. 3 in the physical. 1 is spiritual. And 1 is time. So we need to know what the time is. If it's the end time, there are prophecies for that. Prophecies about the end times. We need to go and look at them. I have some classes on that. One especially with what happened in Kibbutz Be'eri. Please go and look at that. Whatever happened in Kibbutz Be'eri is written in a prophecy of Hoshea. Hoshea 14, okay? Hoshea ben Be'eri, the son of Be'eri. What happened in Kibbutz Be'eri? It's the end time. So now let's look, okay? So Adam and Eve. Adam had Cain and Abel. You know the story there, probably, okay? But then they had Seth. And then I'm just skipping a bunch of generations to show you where we come from. We come from Abraham and Sarah, the Jews who got the Torah, who are the nation of Israel. What does it mean, and where does anti-Semitism come from? This information of God in our 5-dimensional reality, okay, came through this line. It's called the blessing, okay, because it's a blessing to know about God. It's a blessing to be able to see your reality clearly. It's a blessing to be protected when stuff goes down and it's all chaotic in your world. And when there's a bunch of anti-Semitism, people don't feel safe. Jews are getting a lot of hate. It's good to know what's going on, no? So it's a blessing. It's a blessing to have this information. And it went from Adam to Seth to Noah. There was the flood. Everybody was wicked in this generation. They died. Only Noah survived. He had 3 sons. Please see literally all of my other videos. 1 son was Shem. Okay, he gave this information to Shem. This is where the word anti-Shemi comes from, anti-Shem, because they don't want God in our reality, okay? They, the 70 nations that make up everyone else in the world, not that doesn't include the Jews. The Jews are like a little separate situation, a separate holy nation that has the information of God. And I'm kind of tired of hearing people like, okay, like especially like Reform Jews and quote unquote conservative Jews. which all of this is a lie, okay, say we are the people of the book, and then just literally don't know any Torah, okay, or just know the very basic level of the Torah, which is called the Pshat. There's 4 different levels to the Torah. There's a simple level, and then as you learn more and as you become more holy, more pure in your spirituality, your spiritual level, your awareness, your consciousness, the more you work on that, then you understand the deeper levels, including the secret. Okay, so I'm kind of tired of hearing on a bunch of, and I'm not a rabbi, okay, I'm not claiming to be a rabbi, but I mean, I woke up in the lie, the chaotic lie, the world of lies 6 or 7 years ago and started learning Torah. Okay, so this is, and I think that this is something that most conservative, reform, secular, traditional, non-Torah observant Jews don't understand. And I will, bli neder, I'm not promising, but I really want to do a class telling us where we came from. We should all be very proud to be Jews. We shouldn't be scared. We shouldn't be trying to be just like everybody else. We're separate and we're special. And that's just the situation, okay? Whoa, isn't that racist? Am I an elitist by thinking that the Jews are better than ever? The Jews are the chosen people. Okay, we can get into that in my other class that I think I'm going to do about telling us all about our history, our Babi and Zaidi here, our great Babi and Zaidi, Avraham and Sarah. Okay, so look, so the information went through this line to Shem. Shem had a grandson, Eber. Okay, and Shem and Eber had an academy which taught this information to anybody who wanted to go there. Okay, but the rest of the generations, the rest of the people in this generation were idol worshippers. They were idol worshippers and they didn't believe in God, and in fact they were anti-Shemi. Everyone kind of knew about Noah's son, Shem, and they were anti-Shemi. They didn't want this information. Okay, but Avraham went out and looked for he didn't also go there yet. He ended up spending 39 years at the academy and learning all of this information. But what happened was he looked into his reality, Avraham, in a time when everybody around him was an idol worshiper, also worshiping the stars, also worshiping the sun, also worshiping all different types of things, not God. And he thought that that did not make sense. And eventually God rewarded him, because it says that in the way in which you want to walk, then God will help you. So if you want to find God, he'll help you find him. If you don't want to find him, if you want to be an idol worshiper, meaning you want to worship your ego, you want to worship whatever, then you're going to be helped in that way too, which is a massive fail of your life, especially if you're a Jew. Okay, so just open your mind to Judaism. This is pure Judaism. Okay? So Avraham went to this academy. Okay, and then he wrote also several books, and he knew Noah. Okay, and it says here that Noah, and I'm going to show you the book in a minute. Noah and Shem also were around at that time. Okay, Noah and Shem. He knew Noah and he knew Shem, and he wrote books. And he went out to proclaim God's greatness. And he had thousands of people that followed him. He was like the OG. He really was. He wasn't like, everybody knew who Avraham was. Everybody knew that God walked with Avraham. God spoke with Avraham. Okay, and he was cool. He was super cool. And he wrote the book of creation, Sefer Yetzirah. Well, I didn't put that here, but I have that too. I'll put the link. I'm going to put the links also for all these books that I'm going to suggest in the description, okay? And I really highly recommend that you guys start learning what it is to be a Jew. What does it mean? What is Judaism? What is our history? Okay, because also, I'll just show you here now. This is essential reading. Yalkut Ma'am Loaz, the Torah Anthology, and it is literally This is Genesis, but I think it's like 49 volumes in all. But it's like all of the Torah, including a lot of the different levels of Torah. It's like a one-stop shop, and it's in any language probably that you speak. I know it's in English, I know it's in Spanish, and it's probably in French. It's in Hebrew, by the way. Okay, and here he says, Avraham wrote many books regarding this, the information of God. Among these books was the book of creation, Sefer Yetzirah. All of this was given to Isaac, who in turn passed it down to Jacob, Yaakov. Okay, and Jacob transmitted this to all of his sons, the 12 tribes, but especially choosing Levi as the head of the academy, where all would learn how to observe God's commandments. He also ordered that the tribe of Levi should be in charge of punishing those who worshipped idols, at a time when the Jews used to stray into the other, even in more recent history, before the Holocaust. Then you were ostracized, you were punished for going outside of Judaism, not because they're mean, but because this is the truth. And it's beneficial also to you to keep these ways, because then again, you are in the shelter of the Most High. God protects you. God provides for you. So, okay, so that's what happened. And then from the tribe of Levi, so Levi was not a slave in Egypt. You may be familiar with the story of Passover and how the Jews were enslaved in Egypt, and then God came and took us out of this system of slavery and gave us the Torah. The Torah. And we were the only nation that got the Torah. And we became the nation of Israel. That's why we're the nation. That's why we're a nation. Otherwise, what point would there be to have a nation of Israel if you're just going to be over here doing all the other things that everybody in the 70 nations does? If you're just going to be a Jew learning genetic, excuse me, if you're just going to be a Jew learning gender studies in some college in Ohio, for example, or wherever you are, what's the point? What's the point? There is a point to Judaism, okay? And I have another class that's like, you have a purpose in your life, believe it or not. Something like that. There is a purpose. There's a mission here. Because this time element of our reality is going to end. There is an end time. That's why they're end time prophecies, because there is an end date. And guess what? Spoiler alert, we're getting close to it. And that is why we're seeing a lot of anti-Semitism on the rise. Why? Because at the end date, at the final redemption, God is going to be more apparent be apparent in our reality. Okay, so there will be an end to the evil and the chaos. Okay, and they feel that. So they're like mounting their greatest fight ever. That's why all of these things are happening. That's why Agenda 2030 is now on the table. They gotta lock things down. They want the fight. You don't even know there's gonna be a fight. Maybe. It's called Gog and Magog, by the way. That's World War III. So Levi was never a slave in Egypt, okay? He was free. And he carried on this information. And he gave it. And from the tribe of Levi came Moses, who was the most enlightened person. And he wrote it down and gave it to us, the nation of Israel, okay? Then we came to the land of Israel, had the kingdom of David, built the temple, and had a nice, beautiful, loving connection with God in our reality, and that's why there was peace. World peace. Everyone talks a big game about how they want world peace. Well, if you want world peace, connect to God, because the more people that connect to God, the more Jews that connect to God, that's what it means to be the light unto the nations. What does that even mean, people of the book? What does that even mean? It means to connect to God, plug in your cord, so to speak, and then your light can shine. And the more people whose light shine, the more light is coming into our world. So required reading, I think, at this point for everybody is, like I said, Yalkut Mo'em Lo'ez, the Torah Anthology. Okay, this is just Genesis. why not start with Genesis? You want to know more, a little bit more about who Bobby and Zadie are and all the family, all their family, however you say it, and not Ashkenazi Jews, or Saba and Safta, okay? Then get the patriarchs. Start with number 2. You don't have to start with number 1 if you don't care how the world was created. Start with number 2, okay? The 12 tribes. Learn who these guys were, and I'm gonna, like I said, Leanetter, do a class on that, because these guys were amazing, okay? If you don't want to start with that, just start with a handbook of Jewish thought. Educate yourself, Jews. We're the people of the book, after all. Get some books by Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan, who, by the way, translated into English the Book of Creation, Sefer Yetzirah, that Avraham Avinu wrote. Okay, but it's very, very complicated to start with. I mean, of course, I jumped in and bought that book, number 1, first thing, because I was like, wow, let's look at the Book of Creation. I want to know how everything was created. But my mind wasn't right yet enough to understand. It's complicated, okay? So you can start there, but I don't recommend it, because Purim is coming up, and I have another class about Queen Esther. Highly recommend people watch that, because we have to fast all of the Jews, the nation of Israel. Whoever considers themselves a Jew, there are several different fasts, not only Yom Kippur, and one is the fast of Esther. So this is a great book, the Book of Esther. Again, I'm going to put all the links in the description, okay? People asking, what about the Holocaust? Where was God? Everything by Rabbi Avigdor Miller, I think, is required reading, or helpful at least. This is a great book. A Divine Madness, Rabbi Avigdor Miller's account of the history of the Holocaust, okay? Here he really gives you a good perspective, and this I talk about in many of my classes, like Antisemitism. I have one that's like, what can the Jews learn? What can we learn from the Holocaust? Okay, I think I even read from this book, okay? Whoops. If you are an intellectual, the Kuzari is for you. The Kuzari, okay? A lot of people who think that the Jews are having this big conspiracy to run the world talk about Kuzarian Jews. Well, we're not going to talk about that right now, because it's kind of stupid. If you just read this book, you'll see. But this is Rabbi Yehuda Levi, and it's in defense of the despised faith. Who's a despised faith? Well, despised faith. That's us. That's us. Say it loud and proud. They don't like us, for the most part, in general, because they don't want God. No one wants these rules. No one wants this morality. They want to be LGBTQ plus. They want, and I think there's more letters in there now, but they want what they want, which is not holy. This is holy, and this is unholy, and it is going to absolute chaos, in case you haven't noticed, okay? So they're serving a different God, the unholy. And I think a lot of people are waking up to that. I see a lot of things, even in Israel now, about the Baphomet and about the symbolism, about the Freemasons, and about this and that and the next thing. So it's time to learn about God. It's time to learn about Judaism. It's time to learn the Torah, guys. Here, the Kuzari, Rabbi Yehuda Levi. You want to try and defend Judaism online, dancing around on TikTok, and then at least get some knowledge. At least don't go walking around and saying, I'm a proud Zionist, because you don't even know what that means. Okay, maybe educate yourself with some information. And I'm really not judging anyone. I know I sound a little bit arrogant, but it's just because I'm frustrated a little bit sometimes. But honestly, I didn't know anything. And I probably knew less than you, whoever you are, wherever you are. I knew nothing. Okay? And that's part of our ego. We think we know everything, and we really know nothing. And that was me too, okay? So it's working a little bit on your own ego to realize that maybe if you're saying, hey, what's going on? Why is there anti-Semitism? Didn't we say never again? Wasn't the Zionist state of Israel here to protect us? So there would never be another Holocaust? Why did it happen October 7th in Israel? Where was the IDF? Where was the Mossad? Where was anything? Where's all the technology from the startup nation? Right? What are all these lies that are coming out? Why is everybody now talking about the New World Order, including those in the New World Order, the WEF? You know, all these things, okay, make a lot of sense. And that's why I'm frustrated, because it's been a long time, especially after COVID, when I was like, you guys. Like so many of you also who are awake, but just don't have now the truth. So you're awake to the lie. And this is what I always said also about myself. I'm awake in the lie. I do not yet know what the truth is. But now, Baruch Hashem, thank God. Okay, there is information. And throughout our whole entire history, there have been rabbis like Rabbi Yehuda Levi, like the Gaon from Vilna, like Rabbi Avigdor Miller, like Rabbi like Rabbi Yaakov Kuli, who started the Ma'am Laws. And he started it because he said, maybe I'll read from that. He says that it's a great poverty that in his generation was like 300 years ago. Okay, 350 years ago, that people had strayed away from the Torah because they lost their Hebrew. They lost because of the exile, they lost their ability to read Hebrew. And then therefore a lot of the more deep information in the Torah was lost to them. So what he did was he just made it not in Hebrew. He just made it in Ladino, I guess. Okay, and now thanks to Rabbi Uriah Kaplan, we also have it in English. So it's essential. I mean, it's like, so again, the Kuzari, which is in defense of the despised faith, and this is a very intellectual book that is like just going over it. It's like. We find a tremendous amount of wisdom and lucid thought presented by a Jew who was immensely proud of Judaism. Rabbi Yehuda Levi was never an apologist for any of Judaism's teaching, no matter how controversial, such as the elitism of the Jewish people. Okay, like I said also, okay? It's not because we're racist, whatever, it's just that this information, Avraham and Sarah, they were like, basically like kings and queens, okay? And we are their descendants. Okay, do you feel like, okay, so also Rabbi Akiva Tatz has many books. I'm suggesting the Letters to a Buddhist Jew, because I think it's very interesting. He writes, it's a writing back and forth, Rabbi Akiva Tatz and David Gottlieb. I guess David here is a Jew who was practicing Buddhism, and he was really into it, because a lot of Jews are very spiritual. They're looking for spirituality, they're just not looking in the right place, right? Looking for love in all the wrong places. You just have to look in the Torah, which for some reason is like the last place any of us want to start. Okay, and this one, Mesilat Yesharim, from the Ramchal, with, again, Rabbi Avigdor Miller's commentary and translation, okay? Very, very interesting, very, very helpful, will help really get you on the right path to understanding truly what is Judaism, what it is to be a Jew. Okay? And why there is antisemitism in our world. Putting all the links in my comments here for Jew if you have any questions. And please also go see your Orthodox rabbis in your communities. They are there to help you. You may not think that you have anything in common with them, but you do. You do have everything in common with them, and they are waiting to answer all your questions, okay? It's a start. And then if you don't connect somehow with your rabbi, go see somebody who's sitting there and learning or praying every day, and go ask questions. And please stay away from some of the cults. And again, I'm not ashamed to say the truth. A lot of people know it. A lot of people don't say it. I'm saying it. Okay? This is a different belief system. They believe that somebody who has died, okay, like another different faith, a different whatever, who believe that their teacher died and is going to come back, and that's going to the Mashiach. Okay, but that's a lie. And also, look, like I said, at one time, if you strayed away from the Torah and its laws, including keeping Shabbat, you were ostracized and you were called wicked. That's the first thing every Jew needs to start doing, is keeping Shabbat. Okay, and you need to go talk to an Orthodox rabbi. If anybody tells you that it's okay to just start doing good deeds without stopping to do the things that are not allowed, like desecrating the holy Shabbat, then that's not a good place for a Jew. Okay? King David told us, stop doing bad things and then do good things. Okay, because imagine you're doing, as Rabbi Alona Nava, you can check him out. He has a YouTube channel in English, as Rabbi Anava says, he explains that if you're going to come to serve the king something on a platter, you better make sure that platter is not disgusting and dirty and broken. He's not going to want to take whatever you're serving him off of that. So you got to stop doing bad things that are making you impure and dirty, so to speak, and unholy, before you start doing good things. That's why King David said, stop doing bad, ve'oseh tov, and do good. He didn't say, taseh tov, hakol tov, everything's good, everything's fine, God loves you, just do good things. No. So don't go there.